This conference will now be recorded.
Now, so in the previous session, we have discussed about the standard controllers, and we have discussed what exactly the standard controller and what is a use. How can we use the standard controller in order to design the customized user interfaces and in order to perform the operations on the input values without writing any business logic by using some standard functionalities. By using the standard methods which has been given by Salesforce by default, we can able to perform the operations. Now, today we'll see the custom controller. So already you know what exactly the custom controller, what is the use, and how can we implement the custom controller, already you are aware of. During the controllers concept, already I told you, so what exactly the standard controller and what exactly custom controller, what exactly extension controller, already told you. Now, so custom controllers in the sense, whenever we are going to performing some operations on the input values, if the existing methods are not suitable, then we can perform those operations by writing the business logic by our own. By using our own customized business logic, we can able to implement the functionality, and that business logic we can able to evoke. That facility is available over here. So in this case, whenever if you want to perform the operations by writing your own custom business logics, then why should we go for custom business logic? Because standard business logics are not sufficient. Why? Because Salesforce has given only 10 methods. As part of standard controller, in each and every class, Salesforce has given only 10 methods, like save method, quick save method, cancel method, delete method, first method, next method, previous method, last method, has next, has previous. These are the 10 methods has been given by Salesforce. Now tell me, these 10 methods are suitable for every business case? No. Because sometimes I want to implement the functionality like this. Let me explain. Assume that my client asked me to implement a small calculator feature. Basic calculator. Now, for example, I want to design like this. So this is the basic calculator feature which I'm expecting. So here the user will enter some 2 input values. On those input values, he would like to perform some operations like enter first number, enter second result, operation result. Now I would like to have the 3 text boxes over here. I would like to have 3 text boxes. To enter the first name value, 1 text box. To enter the second number value, 1 more text box. To show the results, another text box. Now, I would like to have some button controls also on this. I would like to have the add button, and then I would like to have the subtract button, add button, subtraction button, multiplication button, and the division button. So these are the button controls I would like to have on my user interface. I'm having this button controls. addition, subtraction, multiplication, and the division. These are the 4 button controls I would like to have inside my user interface. Now, this is the basic calculator functionality which my customer is expecting right now. So I have designed this user interface by placing some 3 text boxes and then the 4 button controls. So now I would like to enter some values over here. I'm entering some value. In the first number text box, I'm entering some value 2500. In the second number text box, I'm entering the value some 500. When I click on this add button, it has to perform the addition of these 2 values. It has to show the result like as 3000. Okay, it has to show the result as 3000. Suppose when I click on subtraction, it has to show the result 2000. When I click on multiplication, it has to show the result. When I click on division, it has to show the result. That means what? So now, after entering the first number and the second number value, when I click on this button control, it has to perform the respective operation on these input values. It has to show the result. So upon click on this add button, it has to perform addition operation. Upon click on subtract button, it has to perform subtraction operation. Upon click on multiplication button, it has to perform multiplication operation. Upon click on division button, it has to perform division operation. That means what? I need to perform some mathematical calculations. Now, in this case, how can we do that? Do we have any ready-made method given by Salesforce, like as addition method, subtraction method, multiplication method, division method? Do we have any ready-made methods given by Salesforce? No. Salesforce has given only these 10 methods. Salesforce has given only these 10 methods. We don't have any other methods. Then what we can do? I need some addition functionality. I need some subtraction functionality, multiplication functionality, division functionality. Do we have this one ready-madely? No. Then what we can do? We need to implement our own. How? We need to prepare our own custom class. We have to prepare our own custom class over here. Like I'm preparing a custom class. I'm preparing a custom class, public class, basic calculator controller. I'm preparing a class with the name basic calculator controller. I'm preparing the methods here. Public void addition method. Here I'm writing the business logic to perform the addition operation. Addition operation logic. Like the similar way, I want to prepare the subtraction operation. I want to prepare the subtraction operation. Subtraction. Here I would like to indicate the subtraction operation logic. I would like to implement the multiplication. Multiplication. Here I want to write the logic over here. Multiplication operation logic. I want to perform the division. I want to perform the division operation. Division. So that I would like to use division operation result here. I want to perform this operation. So that here I am going to preparing my own custom business logic. So I have prepared my own class. This is my own class which we have prepared. Inside this class I have prepared the various methods. This is one method which I have prepared for that addition. And here the second method for the subtraction. This is the third method for the multiplication. This is the fourth method for the division. So in this case, what needs to be done? We have prepared 4 methods over here. We have written the business logic inside this. So now in this case, as soon as when the user click on this particular add button, upon click on this add button, I would like to call this addition method. Upon click on this subtraction, I would like to call this a subtraction method. Upon click on this multiply button, I want to call this multiplication method. Upon click on this division button, I would like to call this a division method. That means what? Instead of using the ready-made methods, because ready-made methods are not suitable for my case. Ready-made methods are not suitable in this case. So we need some custom functionality so that I'm building my own custom class. I'm writing my own custom business logic by using my own methods. These methods I would like to invoke, or these methods I would like to reference inside my Visual Force page. So at that time, whenever we are referencing that custom business logic inside the Visual Force page, then we can go with that custom controller. So whenever if you want to reference the custom business logic, if the standard business logic is not sufficient, not suitable, if you want to use your own custom business logic as part of your Visual Force programming or as part of your application requirement, then we are going to be writing our own class by preparing our own custom class, and we are writing our own business logic. That business logic we can invoke, okay, with the help of the button controls. So that whenever we are referencing that custom business logic inside the Visual Force page, then we can able to use the help of custom controller. Okay, we can use the help of custom controller. So in this case, what do you mean by custom controller? Custom controller is used to reference the custom business logic inside your Visual Force programming. Inside your Visual Force page, we can reference the custom classes also, custom business logics also. If the standard business logics are not suitable, if the standard functionalities are not suitable, then we can able to reference. Then we can able to reference the custom business logics inside my Visual Force page by using this custom controller class. Okay. Now, in this case, what needs to be done? We have to design the user interface. We have to prepare the class. Okay, we have to prepare that class. Now, so in this case, this is the class which you have used. How can we bind this class inside this page? Because upon click on that button, I want to call this addition method. Where is this addition method inside this class? Then how this page will know this is the class in which this addition method is available? How does it know? For that reason, we are going to be binding this particular class inside my Visual Force page. How? With the help of a property. Inside the page tag, we have to use a property called as controller. Controller means custom controller. That means in which class the business logics are available. So we can specify the class name. Basic calculator. Basic calculator controller. Basic calculator controller. So we are going to be referencing this particular class inside your Visual Force page by using this controller property. So with the help of this controller attribute, we can able to reference this custom class inside your Visual Force page. Now, in this case, what needs to be done? Design the Visual Force page first. Now, let me explain the steps over here. Design the Visual Force page first. As a step 1, design the Visual Force page. As a step 2, prepare your own custom business logic. As a step 3, bind that class inside that page. As a step 4, invoke that methods by using this button controls. These are the 4 simple steps. If you know these steps, then implementing custom business logic is very, very simple. Nothing else. Implementing the custom business logic is very, very simple. Nothing else. You know how to define the Apex classes, methods, business logic, complex logics also, you know, nothing else. Just we have to invoke from button control. That's it. So we have to follow 4 simple steps. These are the 4 steps you can follow. Okay. So which we can able to use in order to implement that. Okay. As a step 1, create your own user interface first. Once the user interface is ready, then as a step 2, implement your own custom business logic. Define the class. As a step 3, we have to bind this class with your page. So that here as a step 3, reference that particular class inside your Visual Force page. And as a step 4, invoke that methods by using this button class. Inside the button control, we have action property. In that action property, specify that method name. That's it. Okay. Now let's see how can we implement this one. Now let's see. Now, custom controller. Upon performing the operations by using Visualforce programming, if the standard functionalities are not suitable, then we can prepare our own business logic and can be referenced inside the Visualforce page by using custom controller. That is, we can prepare our own controller class, our own custom class by implementing the required business logics and can be invoked by using button controls on the Visualforce page. Now, then how can we use this one here? Now let's see practically in this case. Upon using the custom controller, we have to follow the below steps. Upon using the custom controller, we have to follow the below steps. What are those steps? Now let me explain practically one by one. Step one. Design a Visualforce page. Design a Visualforce page with the required visual appearance controls. Now, as a step two, implement the custom business logic by creating the Apex class. And implement or define the required variables inside the class and implement the required methods with the business logic. With the required business logic here. Now, for example, I'm defining this class, I'm defining the variables and the methods. But in this case here, okay, here I'm giving the node point. Suppose, for example, I'm defining a class, public class, my custom controller class. We can specify that I'm indicating calculator controller. I'm defining the variable. Define the variable objects, collections, whatever you want. For example, I'm defining some variables. Public integer, some first number, or some customer code, whatever, anything. Customer code. Public string, customer name. Public list of account, some LST accounts. Now here these are the variables we are defining inside the class level. Suppose if you want to access these variables inside your Visualforce page, then we have to define these variables with a get and set accessor. define this variable with get and set accessor. Get and set accessor. Whatever the variables, whatever the collections, whatever the objects you want to access from the Visual First page, those members we have to define with get and set accessor. What do you mean by get? Get is nothing but to get this value from the Visual First page, because Visual First page code is available separate file, business logic class, nothing but this class is available in separate file. So if you want to access this a class variable from the Visual First page, then we have to define with the get and set. Get means what? We can get this variable value from Visual First page. Set means what? Assigning. That means we can assign this value from Visual First page. Okay, get accessory is used to get the value of this variable from Visual First page. Set accessory is used to set the value from Visual First page, nothing but for the bidirectional communication. To assign, to retrieve, we are using get and set accessors. Now, define the required variables, collections, and objects can be referenced inside the Visual First page with the get and set accessors. With the get and set accessor. So what is this get accessor? Get accessor is used to access the value from the Visual First page. Set accessor is used to set or assign the value from the Visual First page. So for that particular variable or for that collection, if you want to assign the value from that Visual First page, then we have to use this get and set accessor. Get accessor is used to get the value of the variable from Visual First page. Set accessor is used to set the value from the variable to the Visual First page. Now, why? Because here I'm entering some values over here. Here I'm entering some value. Okay, here I'm entering this first number and the second number, where we are performing the operation here, so that we have to pass this value into this particular place over here. So we need to collect this value. We are passing this value from Visual First page to Apex. But result we are going to be displaying from where it is performing some operation, giving the result. We can collect this value over here. So to assign, to retrieve, we are going to be defining these numbers with get and set accessors. So get accessory is used to get the value, set accessory is used to set the value. That means assign the value to the variable. Now, next, the step 3. Here we can define the methods also. Define the business logic methods. I'm indicating public, void, get all accounts. Like that, we can able to define the methods whatever you want. Write the business logic. So whatever the business logic that you want, we can able to write. Now, so this is the second step. As the first step, design the Visual First page with the required input controls and output controls. As a step 2, implement the custom business logic by preparing your own class, define the variables inside the class, define the collections, define the objects in the class level, and then write the business logic also by preparing your own methods. And once it is available, then as a step 3, reference the custom class inside the Visualforce page by using controller attribute. How we can able to specify that? Syntax. We can specify Apex page controller equals to specify the class name. What is that class name here? Calculator control. Now, as a step 4, invoke the methods by using the button controls. Invoke the methods by using button controls. The syntax is we can specify Apex command button value equals to get records, and the action equals to specify that method. What is that method here? Get all accounts. Okay, like that. These are the 4 steps we need to follow. Okay, these are the 4 steps we need to follow upon implementing the custom business logics. So whenever we are implementing your own custom controllers, we have to follow these 4 simple steps. Generally, nobody will give these steps. Simply, they will show you how to implement that. But if you follow these 4 simple steps in the entire Salesforce development as part of Visualforce, same 4 steps, nothing different. So always we have to use these 4 simple steps. Design the Visualforce page with the required controls, place the text boxes, pick list, whatever you want, everything. And then second one, create your own business logic class. And then whatever the variables and whatever the collections or whatever the objects that you are going to access in the Visualforce page, directly those variables you can define in the class level and then prepare them with the get and set accessors. And then define the business logic by preparing your own methods. And then reference this class inside your Visualforce page by using controller property, invoke the method. That's it, simple concept. Now, so these are the 4 simple steps we have to follow upon implementing your own custom controllers. Now, let's see how can we do that. Let me go with some small examples. We'll see that complex examples also over there. Now, let me take a small example so that you can understand. Initially, I will go with the class and with some variables. Then I will go with the methods also, how to implement the methods. Everything we'll see one by one. Now, so let's take a small use case. Now what I want to do is, I want to define a class. In that class, I want to define some variables. And those variable values I want to show on my Visualforce page. Simple concept. Okay. I want to define a class. In that class, I want to define some variables. Those variable values I want to show on my Visualforce page. Simple. How to do that, we'll see. So that we can understand, okay, how can we define the variables. And then we'll see how to pass the values also later, one by one, step by step. Take a small use case. Design a Visualforce page to represent the product details on the Visualforce page. Okay, design a Visualforce page to represent the product details on the Visualforce page. I want to design a Visualforce page where I want to define some variables inside my class, and those variables I want to show on my Visualforce page. How can we do that? Now let me explain practically. Now, let's see how can we do this. Now I'm going to be creating a class. I'm creating a Visualforce page. Now I'm indicating show product details page. I'm creating a page with the name show product details page. So with this name, there is no page has been designed as of now. Okay, there is no page has been designed. So it is indicating the message page show product details page does not exist. Nothing but with this name, we are unable to identify any page inside our metadata repository. But my intention is what? I'm not collecting that page. I know this page is not available. I'm creating that so that it is indicating. So you want me to create the page or not? Yes, I'm planning to create the page. So click on the link, page will be getting created. So this is the page has been designed by Salesforce. So now when you go to that editor, we can able to see the default code which has been given by Salesforce. This is the default code. Now remove this. I don't want this a default code. Now my page result page is empty. Here the empty space here. Wait background. Now what is my requirement? I want to define some variables inside my class. Okay, related to the product. Related to the product, I want to define some class, and then I would like to define some variables I want to show on my Visualforce page. How can we do that? So I want to create a class. Where we can create the class? Do I need to create the class from developer console? No, you can create from there also, no problem. But here we no need to go to that. So here itself we can create the class. How? Just to go to that page tag, specify the property controller. Because what we are doing here, we are creating the class. Okay, we are creating this class, and then we are binding this class into your page in one shot itself. Okay, now for that one, specify controller equals to with which name you want to create the class. I want to create the class with the name over here. So now show product details controller. So now observe this one here. So now observe this one. When it is verify this class name and the page name, I'm following the same format over here. Here show product details. Here also show product details. This is what page. This is what controller. Controller means class. So whenever we are going to be defining the Visualforce page in the respective controller, follow these kind of naming conventions. Follow these kind of coding standards. So now we can raise a question. Sir, for the page, I'm giving this name. For the class, I will give some different name. Can I give? Yes, no problem. But in future, if you want to identify which class is using in which page, that will be very difficult to understand. For that one, if I'm using the same name for both page and the class, it will be very easy for our identification. So now here this page name will be ending with the page, this class name will be ending with controller. So this is a class. This class is using in which page? Show product details page here. Simple concept. So in this case, we are following these kind of notations. In the real time, we have to follow these kind of notations upon defining the page and the class. Because for our easy identification over here, because development will be maximum 6 months. Okay, we can develop the application by spending maximum 6 months of time, but we have to give lifelong support also to the application. We have to give the maintenance to the application also based on the client. Keep on, we have to do the enhancements. So at that time, upon doing the enhancements, we should not face any problem to understand the existing code. If you're following the proper standards, then in future, application will be very easy to maintain. Don't make the application complex. Make the application easy to implement, easy to maintain. Maintenance will be very, very easy if I'm following the proper standards. If I'm not following these kind of standards, for the page I'm giving page 1, for the class I'm giving class 1, then we can do, no problem. But in future, okay, this page is utilizing which class? We don't know. Until or unless you're not looking into the code, we can't identify that here. For that reason, we have to follow some certain coding standards and naming conventions. Now, so in this case, I'm giving the same name, okay, for the page and the class. These are the standards we have to follow. Now, just by looking into the name itself, we can understand. Page name should be ending with the page. Class name will be ending with controller. Controller means what? A class. What class? Not independent, using in Visualforce page here. Okay. So for that is the identification here. Now, so now here in this case, we are defining the page and the class. Now, inside my class, I want to define the variables. Let me define the variables inside this class now. Now, in this case, I'm specifying the class name. Now click on save. Now it is indicating that. So when I click on that save, it will try to compile that code. During the compilation, it has identified that some error message like Apex class show product details controller does not exist. Nothing but boss, whatever the class name that you have specified over here, with this name, there is no class has been defined. Yes, right. I haven't created the class. So now it is indicating the message, you want me to create that class or not? You want me to create that class or not? So it is giving the link. So now create Apex class, create Apex class. Here also it is giving public class, class name. Whatever the name that I have given, with this name, it is trying to be creating the class. Public, here one additional word is available with the sharing. Okay, with the sharing class, class name. That's it. It is trying to be creating the class. It is indicating you, boss, with this name, class is not available. You want me to create the class or not? If yes, click on this link. Automatically, I will create the class for you. Now, in this case, I want to create this class. So here we are having the two links are available here. Click on the second link to create the class. We'll see what is this with the sharing keyword. Without sharing, we'll see in the next concept. So I will tell you as part of Visualforce. Now, so now I'm clicking on that second link here. It will be looking like as public class, class name. So click on the link. Automatically, class will be getting prepared. Class code is available inside the second tab. So one more tab has been added. Here we are having the class functionalities available. Okay, this is the class. Here we can write that business logic, whatever you want. I'm defining some members over here. Public, integer, product code, and then public string, product name, public string, manufacturer name, public decimal unit price, public date, manufacturing date, public date, expiry date, public boolean is in stock. Like that, these are the variables which I have defined. Okay, you know how to define this class, how to define the variables, you know that concept. But now what is my requirement? I want to display this variable value into my Visualforce page. So whenever I'm defining the variable, what value is available by default inside that variable? Null. You know that concept. Upon defining the variables, if you did not assign any value, then by default Salesforce is assigning the default value as null for each and every variable. Then I want to display this variable value. How I want to display? So in this case, if you want to get this value from this class, I want to display on my Visualforce page. Like I want to display this variable value, like as customer code is, so the product code. Product code is. How can we access that variable? By using the merge field format. What is that variable name? Product code. Okay, product code. We can specify product code. That's it. Okay, simply we can specify. Now here you can raise a question, sir, this is a normal variable, so if you want to access this variable, we need an object, but we haven't created any object here. Then how it is possible? Why? Because is whenever we are going to be saving this particular class, okay, whenever you are saving this Visualforce page, then automatically Salesforce is going to be going to the respective class. For this class, Salesforce will create the object automatically by default. Upon running the Visualforce page, whatever the class you have binded for this class, Salesforce will create the object automatically by default. With the help of that object, it is accessing this variable. So product code. That means what? Product code is a variable where it is available inside this class. So inside this class. Now let's try to save this one. Observe what will happen in this case. It is raising some exception. It is raising some error over here. Unknown property show product details controller that product code. Nothing but I'm unable to access this product code variable. Why? Because that already told you if you want to access any of that class variables, then we have to define with get and set. Okay, then only we can able to access that. So go to this variable and define this variable with the get and set accessor so that we can specify with get and set. That's it. Simple concept. Okay. Now product name also I want to define with get and set. Manufacturer name, get and set. Unit price. Expiry date. Is in stock. Okay, is in stock. So in this case, what happened? We are going to be defining the variables, and then these variables I am going to be making it accessible from Visual Force Page. How can we access this variable from Visual Force Page? By using get accessor. So for this variable, value can be accessible from Visual Force Page, and then if you want, we can pass the value from Visual Force Page to this Apex class also by directional communication. So now we can able to access that variables. Product code. Product name is, what is my variable name? Product name. And then manufacturer. Manufacturer name is manufacturer name. And then unit price. Unit price is unit price. And then I would like to collect that. What are the other variables that we have? Manufacturing date. Manufacturing date. Okay, the manufacturing date is I want to indicate manufacturing date. Now, expiry date. Expiry date, and then product is available or not. Product is available. I'm indicating that message. What is that variable? Is in stock. Is in stock. These are the variables. So I have defined these variables inside my class, and then each and every variable I made it as accessible, okay, from the Visual Force page by using this get and set accessor. It may be variable, it may be the object, it may be the collection also. We have to define with get and set accessor so that these variables can be accessible from Visual Force page, or this variable value can be assigned from Visual Force page also. And then we can able to display these values also inside this. Okay, now let's click on save button. Now it is indicating that unexpected token at line number 3. Now show product details controller inside this line number 3. So now it is having some unexpected token. So that means set column. Let's save this one. Now it is indicating this information. So whatever the variables I'm representing here, each and every variable will be getting visible along with the value. Product code is empty, nothing is there, because here these are the variables are there. In this variable, do we have any value? No, that means null, that means empty. So in this case, it is representing in a single row. So now why? Because is that already told you in the Visual Force page, if you want to show something in different lines, we have to use break tag. Okay, I'm using the break tag. Break tag. I'm using this break tag to display each and every value in a separate row. Now let's save this one. So it is indicating that values. Now it is indicating product code is empty. Product name empty, manufacturer name empty, unit price empty, manufacturing date empty, expiry date empty. Product is available. That means this is a checkbox. The default value is false. So this is the way we can define the variables inside your controller class, and these variable values we can able to access in your Visualforce page also. This is how we have to use custom controller, just the basic functionality. Okay, just we are defining the variables, and then we are going to making that variables can be accessible from Visualforce page, and then we can represent those variables values on Visualforce page itself.
Firoz, one question. Hello. Firoz, when we have to use this custom controller and when we have to use a standard controller, how do we decide?
That already told you during our initial classes itself. Okay, during the controllers concept itself already told you. So whenever we are using any standard functionalities like a standard 10 methods, we can go with the standard controller. If you want to use your own custom methods, we have to go with custom controller. Already we had one session completely on that controller classes here. Okay, I think you missed that class. I told you the three types of controllers are available in Salesforce: standard, custom, and extension. When should we go for standard? When should we go for custom? When should we go for extension? Clearly, I have given that whole information with some examples also over there. I'll discuss that complete information by spending one complete session on that. Simple concept is, whenever if you are using these 10 methods inside your Visualforce page, then go with standard. Apart from this 10, if you want to use your own complete custom functionalities, then go with custom controller. If you want to use both, then go with extension controller. That's what I have given one more example also today, that if you want to use completely the custom, then we can go with that custom controller over here. Okay. So this is how we are going to be designing the Visualforce page, and then we can able to prepare our own controller classes, and then we can able to reference those controller classes inside our Visualforce page. So that existing standard functionalities are not suitable, then we can define our own custom controller classes also.
Sir?
Yes.
Yeah, so extension also, like, can we use multiple classes in a VF page?
Yes, we can use. That's what here I have given that information also. One standard controller, multiple extension controllers also we can able to use. Here I have given this. Multiple extension controllers, class 1, class 2, like that we can able to use. That's what I have given. We can use only one standard controller inside the page, and then we can reference one or more extension controller classes also. We'll see each and every concept practically. Theoretical I have explained. Now I am going with the custom controller, and then extension controller we'll see practical concept also we'll see with some real-time use cases. Okay.
Excuse me, Firoz.
Yes.
I have a question. If I want to design a GUI,
okay,
so what's the best approach? First, go for a standard, the drag and drop functionality, create a page, and later develop a Visualforce page. And
no, because
the standard.
Now, see, whenever if you want to design your own customized user interface, then the only solution is Visualforce.
Okay.
Okay, we have to go with Visualforce because we don't have any drag and drop kind of functionalities. For the user interface, we don't have any drag and drop kind of functionalities. We have to design by using the tags. Already we have discussed how to design the page and how to place the section header, and then how to place the font tags and the page blocks, section, button controls, input fields, everything we have discussed. By using that same process, we have to design. And business logic, we have to decide what are the business logic that you want in that page, if that is ready-madely available given by Salesforce or not. That means those 10 methods are suitable or not. If it is suitable, go with standard. If those 10 methods are not suitable, go with custom controller.
Okay.
For the user interface, same. For the GUI, same Visualforce tags only. No other alternative mechanism.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So in this case, these 4 simple steps upon implementing custom controller. First of all, design the Visual Force page. And then second one, prepare your own controller class. And then third step, make this particular variables and the collections and the objects defined with the get and set. And then access these variables and the class functionalities inside the page by using the controller property, and then access those members also. Okay, so here we haven't used any user interface. We'll see slowly, we will see how to design the user interface like this. How can we design the user interfaces also, how to pass the values, how to capture this value in the Apex class, how to perform the operation, how to get that value to Visual Force page, how to represent the results, everything we'll see practically one by one. Okay, if you know one simple example, then the remaining concepts will be very, very easy, because we used to follow same. But initially in the first session, the people may be getting confused, because so now how can we define the variables, how can we access this one by using the major field format? It will be like some confusing concept initially. Once you feel comfortable with this one, then remaining concepts are very, very simple for you, nothing else. But practice is more important. So let me place this code. Like the similar, do some examples on this one, do some assignments. Design a Visual Force page to represent the customer details on the page. This one is a second one. Design a Visual Force page to represent the project details on the page. This is the second design. Third one. Design a Visual Force page to represent the employee details on the page. Employee details on the page. Okay, now. So these are the 3 assignments. Like the similar way, you know how to define the class to store the customer details, project details, employee details. Already we did in our initial concept of Apex programming. During that OOPS concept, upon defining the classes, we did all these things. Just define that variables, okay, and then make that variable with get and set access inside your Visual Force page over here by using the major field format. Okay, that's it. Simple concept. Now here, in this case, you can raise a question. Sir, in these variables, there is no values are available because just we have defined the variables, so no values inside this. So it is showing the default values null. That means empty. How to assign the values over here? For this product code, I want to assign some value. Product name, I want to assign some value. Manufacturer name, I want to assign some value. Unit price, manufacturing date, expiry date, is in stock. For these variables, I want to assign some value. How? In this case, if you want to assign these values for these particular variables, okay, if you want to assign the value for these variables, then we can go with that constructor. So we have to define a constructor inside this. What do you mean by constructor? Constructor is also like as a method. Okay, constructor is also like as a method, so which will be executing automatically upon creating the object. Like for example, I'm having a class, like as some sample class. How to create the object of this class? Sample, some yes equals to new sample. So now whenever I'm going to be creating the object of this class, then what this indicates, this is the name of the class for which I'm creating the object. This is the name of the object here. This is the new keyword for the memory allocation. This part is what? This is the default constructor. This part is called as default constructor. So what is the use of this default constructor? Default constructor is used to assign some value for the variables. Okay, assign some value for the variables. If you want to assign some predefined value for the variables, then we have to use default constructor. So now, if it is a method, then method we need to invoke manually by using object name, that method name. But if it is a constructor, this last part will be invoking automatically. So that constructor is also like as a method. But this is called as a special member function. It's a special method. Why I'm using the word special is normal methods we have to invoke manually by using class name, that method name, or object name, that method name. But constructor we no need to invoke manually. That will be executing automatically by default here. When upon creating the object, the last statement is calling that default constructor. So in this constructor, I would like to assign the value for these variables. So in this case, I would like to define one constructor over here. How can we define the constructor? Now let me explain. So I'm defining the constructor to assign the values for these variables. If I'm not assigning any value, by default, Salesforce is storing the default value as null. But I don't want to store null. I want to assign some value. How to assign? We have to prepare a constructor. Prepare a default constructor. Prepare a default constructor. But whenever we are preparing the constructor, we have to follow some certain rules. Okay, we have to follow some certain rules. What are the rules to be get followed for that constructor? Upon preparing the constructor, we have to follow some certain rules. Now, let me explain those rules also. What are the rules? The first rule is your class name and the constructor name should be exactly same. Whenever you are defining a constructor, constructor is a special member function. Let me give that note point here. Now, constructor is a special method which is used to assign the predefined values for the class variables. Class variables. Now, constructor will get executes automatically upon creating the object of the class. Upon creating the object of the class, constructor will be getting executed automatically. So whenever we are going to be creating the constructor inside your particular class, then constructor name should be exactly same as class. Constructor name should be exactly same like as the class. Constructor name should be exactly same like as the class name. So whatever the name that I'm giving for the class, with the same name we have to prepare the constructor. Okay, now second principle. Constructor doesn't return any value. Constructor doesn't return any value. Next. Constructor doesn't have any return type, even void. Okay, even void. Generally, upon preparing the procedure doesn't return any value. Then we are indicating the procedure return type as void, but constructor doesn't accept even void also. Now, then constructors are executing automatically or manually. When you invoke, this will be executing automatically. Constructors will get executes automatically upon creating the object of the class. This is the fourth rule. Fifth one, can I define multiple constructors inside the class? Yes. We can define multiple constructors inside a class. We can define multiple constructor inside a class. Can I pass any parameters to this constructor? Yes. We can supply one or more parameters to the constructor. We can supply one or more parameters to the constructor. These are the various rules we need to follow. So whenever we are going to preparing the constructor, we have to follow this particular principle. So now, so let me implement this one. How can we prepare the constructor? I'm preparing a default constructor over here. How to prepare the constructor? Constructor should be always public. Okay, one more point here. Constructor should be always defined with public access specifier. Public access specifier. So then how can we define this constructor? Here I'm using the keyword public and then specify the class name. Okay, public class name. No need to specify void also. It won't accept any return type. Here we can assign the value. What are the variables we have defined? For these variables, we can assign the value inside the constructor. So product code, I'm assigning the value some 3450023. Product name, I'm indicating laptop device. Manufacturer name, I'm indicating Dell Incorporation. And unit price, some 32,000. Manufacturing date, okay, manufacturing date. I'm indicating that. System dot today. And the expiry date. Expiry date equals to system dot today dot add years. Add years of some 4. And then is star equals to 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many variables we have? Yes, right. So for each and every variable, I have assigned some value. So for these variables, we have assigned the value over here. So product code, I'm assigning some value. Product name, some value. Manufacturer name, unit price, manufacturing date, expiry date, and then is in stock. So whenever I'm saving this particular Visual Force page, then in this page, whatever the controller class is available for this class, it is creating the object. Upon creating the object, this last part will be calling the default constructor. So the default constructor will be getting invoked. It is going to be assigning the values for these variables. So these values will be getting visibility on your Visual Force page. Now, click on save. System dot variable does not exist. System dot. Now, let me save this code. So we can able to see these results also. It is indicating this information. So it is indicating the product code, product name value here, product code value, product name value, manufacturer name, unit price, manufacturing date, expiry date, and the product is available in stock. This whole information we can able to represent on your Visual Force. So whenever if you want to represent, if you want to assign some values for that variables, then we have to define your own constructor. In that constructor, we can assign the predefined values also inside this. So that we can define a constructor also. In that constructor, we can able to define assign the value for those variables. Okay? This is how we are going to be assigning the value. In the class, normal classes, we are assigning differently. Upon assigning the defining the variable public integer, because some product code equals to, we are assigning the value. But here we have to assign the value inside the constructor itself. Okay? Let me place this. assign the values for the variables by using this particular. Let me place this code. Okay. This is the way we can define the variables inside the class. We can access those variables inside our Visual Force pages. Okay. So do the practice on this one today. Tomorrow we'll see how to prepare the methods inside that, how to invoke, and how to represent the user interfaces also in this particular place. We'll see practical. If you know this particular part, how to define the variables, how to make it as get inside, how to access from the Visual Force page, then the next concepts are very, very easy. Because it will be looking like as a bit confusing initially. So now if you feel comfortable today by doing the practice, then tomorrow's concept will be very easy for you. Okay, tomorrow we will go with that, some more examples, how to build the business logic, how can we invoke, okay, from the Visual Force page by using some visual appearance controls. We'll see practically.